So welcome, Tracey.
Hello. So I have met some people at the over 50s, but this is probably getting on for 2 years now since I've seen everybody. So I work for Carers Oxfordshire, and we support carers who look after family, friends at home or in maybe a separate address to where they live. So we can take assessments, or people can just want support and advice. We have a carers line, so if people have anything that we want to ask about, they can ring the carers line, which is 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. So it's just about being more person-centered. So we've taken over from the county council, we've taken over everything, including assessments, their new software that they have. We've had to learn how to use that. The only thing they do now is the payment side. So if there's a carer's payment, we will fill in a form and it will be authorised, and then the county council will be the ones that put the money into the individual's bank. So we can send referral forms to people to refer themselves. They can go through the GP. Sometimes friends and family have heard of us through other avenues. So it's just about getting to know what's out there for you. I cover Oxford City now, just Oxford City. So any questions, then I'm sure Cecily will email me and I can hopefully answer them. And possibly get some support and advice if needed. I think that's pretty much it, really. I don't want to sort of make it sound too long and over-winded. It's just basically giving support and advice. We can offer benefit checks. There's Age UK helpline number. There's quite a few things. And there is a little magazine called Care Matters that we used to give out as well. That's still running as well. So if anybody wants one of those, we can post those out as well.
Okay, Tracey, for those who've not heard of your organisation before, perhaps you could just give us an example of one or two of the things that you do and how it affects the carers who avail of your services.
Yeah, so often the cared for are centred on and to make sure they're all okay with everything and got all the equipment they need, but the carer actually gets forgotten. So they can be really tired, they can be mentally and physically worn out. They might want to know about how to fill in certain paperwork, attendance allowance forms, quite long, so we can give them telephone numbers of the benefits team to go through that with them. They might just want to go to carers groups, which aren't running at the moment, but hopefully will get going again in September. So it's just letting them know that there is support out there for the carer as well, so that the cared for can get help through usually social services, but the carer usually does sort of get forgotten and it's just absolutely worn out, and just needs support, really.
So what are these carers groups that will be running in September?
So we're not quite sure at the moment, because obviously they haven't been running since the beginning of COVID. So we need to make sure that the areas that they're running, sometimes they're in a pub, sometimes they're in care homes, which is going to be really difficult again to start them up. we need to get details of all these groups that we're running, just to make sure it's safe again to do that, and that the venue that we used is still able to be used again.
So they haven't been meeting online like the over 50s in Donnington?
No, they've all pretty much just gone quiet. We did try a men's group and an online carers group, but it was just a bit hit and miss as to who would turn up, and sometimes it was only 1 or 2 people, so it just wasn't enough people to warrant having it.
Yeah, sometimes people find telephone groups work, but let's okay. And what you were saying, that for some of these carers, they were really worn out.
Yeah.
So what is it that you introduce them to help when that happens?
So there's a couple of things you can, at the moment, we're trying to get volunteers to help with respite. So they might be able to go into the house and offer a couple of hours respite, so that person can go out and just maybe go shopping, go for coffee. There is respite you could get through the county council, but again, it's all on financial assessments and who pays for what. And it's just making sure that the carer knows there is that support there, so they can have a break. And if they do a carer's assessment, we can go through whether they can get the carer's payment, which is a one-off every year, which is up to £300. So that can go towards a short break, you know, a respite, so that they can get that needed rest.
Okay. And how do they find out about all the payments and county council things?
You can go on the website, on the county council website. Carers Oxfordshire website will hopefully be running from August. We're just starting a new one up, so because it's all relatively new to us, we're still in the process of getting our website running. So there will be a website in August, but there is also the carers line if people need to ring that as well. I can give you the number if that would help.
Actually, if you stick them in the chat, we have a recording of the chat, so I can send that round.
Yeah, I can do that. So that's pretty much everything. I mean, it's just, I suppose, with COVID, just seeing what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to move on to, because we haven't been going out to any carers at all. We've just been doing phone call, telephone consultations, really. So I think maybe September will be the time that we get to go out again.
Yeah, because although you can meet outdoors, they're stuck indoors caring for someone.
Yes, yeah. But a lot of people have been quite vulnerable, too scared to go out now, still doing shopping online, still just worried. You know, COVID cases are rising again. So it's just about being careful, because a lot of vulnerable people being looked after, and often the carer is quite vulnerable as well.
Okay, right. And if anyone wants to follow up on this, how do they get in touch with you? Or are you going to put that in the chat as well?
I'm just going to put the carers line number. So if they want to have a referral or just talk to someone, there's always somebody available to talk to you 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So you can discuss these options and say that you'd like to speak to someone a bit more in depth.